is Nikki. I'm with New Lynn Coalition and SEIU 509. I'll be hosting tonight's election forum. Here's Maria for translation.
Buenas noches, estamos aquí reunidos y dándole gracias a todos ustedes. Una cosa así que yo no voy a hacer la traductora, tenemos una traductora allá, Giovanna Fama, esa lady que está ahí subiendo la mano. Por favor, si necesitan traducciones, ella también tiene el equipo para traducciones. ¿Ok? Gracias.
Thank you. Before we get started, I would like to go over a few items. As you can see, there was a piece of paper and a pen on your seat. This piece of paper is for the audience to write a question down for a candidate of your choice. Some will come around and collect them at a later time. Please make sure to write your phone number and your email address on them. If we have time during the forum, we will choose one or two of the questions to present to the candidates. For all other questions, the candidates will follow up with you at a later time. The restrooms are located in the back to the left. Each question will appear on the projector right here. When presented to the candidates, each candidate will have 2 minutes to respond to each question. Maria will be in the front and she will hold up when to begin and when to stop. We ask that time be respected for all parties. Thank you. I would like now to introduce Tish Makula, President of New Lynn Coalition.
Thank you, Nikki. Thank you, everybody. Thank you so much for coming this evening. I would like, first of all, to thank all the candidates for being here. Because tonight, you could have been out there knocking on the door, doing whatever you need to do for your campaign, but you choose this time to be here, and so thank you so much for being here. Thank you so much for all of you, because without you, we will not have, this audience that the candidate will present their program and the plan to. So I wanted to thank you also, all of you, for being here out of your busy day, busy program, busy schedule. You choose to be here. So thank you to all of you. Now, we are the New Lynn Coalition, as our local states. And the New Lynn, what is the New Lynn Coalition? You can find us, first of all, you can find us in the online at www.thenewlynncoalition.com. .org, not that .com, sorry, .org. .com is for, yeah. So that's who we are. What is our mission? What do we do? We are an organization of organization. We are composed of organization members. And New Lynn Coalition is made up with community, faith, labor organization. Our mission, what is our mission? Our mission is to organize all sectors of life. All sectors of working class people in our region, in our lane, because we want only one lane, not two lanes. So all sectors of working class people in our region into one unified, permanent political and economic force that is union, non-union, employed, non-employed, underemployed, and we transcend all racial, linguistic, ethnic, citizenship, faith, gender boundary. We work to build with other allies as well as a New Lynn Coalition. We also seek to reduce and address the extreme income inequality that comes from lack of power for working class people, and to have ability to redistribute wealth. And we directly address also the white supremacy in our community and our organization, and we will educate our members. So, who are the Lynn Coalition? We have the organization member, as you can see, 1199 ACIU, diverse people in Essex County Community Organization, EGO. We have Island Coalition, we have IUECWA Local 201, we have Latina Santa Maria, we have Lynn Health Task Force, we have Lynn Latino Leadership Coalition, Lynn United for Change, Lynn Walker Center, Mass Senior Action Council, Neighbor to Neighbor, No Show Juneteenth, Juneteenth Association, No Show Labor Council, and Prevent the Cycle, and SEIU 509. So we've been around for years, like over 10 years, I would say 12 or more years, we've been doing this. So what do? We have other programs that we do. We have the Lynn Community Enrichment Program, which we give classes in the evening, and we wanted to expand that program. You can tell your community, your member, the classes are in the evening, once a week, 2 hours, any kind of class that you want. We also looking for teachers. If you can teach any class that you can think of, just come and see us. We have E-Team training program, which is train the machinists. And this program is free. It gives an in-depth job training for aspiring machinists, focused on the unemployment and underemployment. Since the pandemic, we've been distributing food. It was started up by some of our organization members, distributing food to people during the pandemic. And when this organization grew out and became too busy, Lynn Coalition take it over. Right now, we are delivering free grocery, fresh grocery, to about 700 families in Lynn, and we still going. So we also need volunteers and drivers and people that can help us, in this task of, delivering food. As you can see, these are some of our volunteers, and we need more. So that's our food aid program. It's been a tremendous impact in our community. So again, I don't want to take up too much time. Just, I wanted to say thank you so much for coming. Thank you to the candidates. Thank you to all of you for being here. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Tish. Okay, let's get this forum started. I would ask for everyone to put their phones on silent, just out of respect. Also, to give all candidates fair time to speak and allow to answer, please refrain from clapping till the end of the forum, okay? Thank you. All right, I would like to state New Lynn Coalition is not endorsing any of these candidates. We are here to give an opportunity for all candidates to inform community members of their views for our city. I would like to introduce the candidates here tonight. To my left, we have Donald Castle, Jose Encarnacion, Brian Fields, Rogelio Garcia, Brian LaPierre, Nicole McLean, and Hong Net. Unfortunately, Richard Felton was unable to make it tonight due to the flu. Are we ready? For our opening question, can you tell us what you have done in the community or what relevant work, organizing, or volunteer experience would help you in this role? We'll start with Donald.
Do you want to use the microphone?
Yes, please.
Hello. Thank you. Number one, thank you to everybody here. I see a lot of friendly faces, neighbors and friends and Lynn people I've known. Is that working? Yes. My entire life, so thank you to every group. I was going to list every group, but there's so many groups part of the coalition. So I just want to say thank you to Tish and Tanvir for having me here tonight. I guess we're really not doing an introduction. I am a lifelong Lynn resident, a product of the Lynn Public Schools. I went to UMass and I went to law school. I worked in a trial court for a long time, and I finished my career as the American Rescue Plan Coordinator. I've dealt with many groups here. Mayor McGee and Mayor Nicholson and the City Council funded the programs. I oversaw the compliance, and I see all the good work that's happening in the city. I grew up in Lynn without a dad. My dad was killed by a drunk driver. My mother was 7 months pregnant with me. My mother raised us alone on Henry Avenue. I went to school not too far from here. And my mother instilled in me what it means to give back to the community, what it means to work hard, what it means to be part of your neighborhood, and having your family involved across the city. I volunteered 25, 30 years ago bringing people out of the farm in Lawrence down to Marion Gardens and Curran Circle to set up the basketball games and clean the city. I volunteered on many different levels. I'm involved in many organizations in Lynn. The Lynn Rotary Club, I was in the Boys and Girls Club Board of Directors for a couple of years. I was promoted to Boston to the Assistant Chief of Probation, so I had to step down from the Boys and Girls Club Board. I'm a member of the Lynn Rotary Club. I'm a 35-year member paying, a union dues member paying with my unions. I was vice president of my union, so I give them back to the community. I volunteer in Pine Hill Little League. I volunteer anywhere I can. We've been around the parks and playgrounds and then cleaning up. So this is my life. This is where I grew up. This is the city I love. So I want to give back as a councilor at large. I will be available 24/7. I will do this job full-time as a councilor at large. I just retired. So I look forward to working with everybody in this room to make Lynn a better place to live.
My name is Jose Encarnacion, running for City Council at large. I've been living in Lynn more than 35 years ago. I got here to Lynn. I was 19 years old when I came here. And I remember I couldn't get to the high school because I was too old. So I took the GED. So my story is very similar to many immigrants. I took the GED. Then I took English as a second language, went to the North Shore Community College. And then when I finished my associate degree, transferred to UMass Boston, where I graduated from UMass Boston with a bachelor degree in economics. I'm married with my wife Yesenia, and I have 6 children. They all went to the school, to the public school here in Lynn. 3 of them, the 3 older ones graduated from, 2 of them from San State University, the other one from UMass Amherst. My 4th one is in college right now, and the 2 other ones, they're still too young. So I feel very proud of what I have accomplished with my family. I'm number 7 of 13 kids here in Lynn. I have a very extended family. Since I came to the United States, I've always been involved in the community. I'm a hard-working individual. I work more than 40 hours a week to provide for my family. Like I said, I've always been involved in the community. When I came here as a teenager, I immediately got involved with the youth. I'm a member of the North Shore Latino Business Association. I'm the director of Dominicana Bandera. So I've been involved. So thank you so much. I see that I have the design for stuff. So thank you so much for your time, and thank you, New Lynn Coalition, for the invitation. Thank you.
Thank you. My name is Brian Field. I'm in my 3rd term as a city councilor, and I'm grateful to New Lynn Coalition for organizing this event this evening, and I appreciate everybody taking time out of their own busy schedules to be here to maybe have your questions answered by the 7 candidates that are here this evening. To answer the initial question is what have I done to help organize? I think just looking around the room and seeing so many leaders in our city here tonight, I think we all know what that answer is. It is, and that's to listen. I think one of my qualities that has been instilled in me from my parents and grandparents for years is to always listen first. And then you get a better understanding where people are coming from, you know, where they're at. You can't really tell just by looking at someone, you know, what kind of day they're having, what kind of week they're having, what's going on at home, how their finances are, how their health is. So to be able to listen, I think, as a funeral director for over 25 years, it's built that gift that I've been given by my family. And I think having that quality helps you be a better leader. You know, just looking out at so many people here, that, you know, that's a reflection of many of you. And I've met with many of you, I've listened and shared ideas and listened to your ideas and even brought your ideas forward during my term as a counselor, and that's why I'm running for re-election, so I can continue to do that. I hope I earn your trust. I hope I have earned your trust over the past 6 years, and I hope I can earn your vote again this election year. Thank you.
Good evening, everybody. Thank you for the opportunity. My name is Roger Garcia, first time running for council at large. Thank you, Lynn Coalition, for the opportunity. I'm an immigrant from the Dominican Republic. I came to this country when I was 17 years old. I was very young and I had no one here. So from the very beginning, it was a struggle. I want you guys to know that from the first day that I arrived in this country, I started working in a restaurant. So they put me to do dishes and I loved it. I thought it was great. And as I worked very hard, I said to myself, someday I'm going to own a restaurant. So for the first 3 months that I worked in this country, I never got paid a dime. The place fell bankruptcy and I moved on. I went and I got a job working at Brothers Deli in downtown. And from that point on, all I've done for my communities is serving. Very proud to serve, helping people, you know, and listening. Very important to listen to people, because sometimes they go to a restaurant, not just to eat. They go there because they have problems and they want to talk to you. They're looking for a friend. I'm married, I have 4 children. I have twin boys. I have an 18-year-old son and I have a 15-year-old girl. My twins are 27 years old. One of my sons is gay. He's an actor and lives in LA. My oldest son is a disabled veteran. He was a Marine for 6 years. He lived in Hawaii. Right now he's in medical school. And I'm doing great. I'm number 2 in the ballot. Please think of me November 7th. Thank you very much for having me.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Brian LaPierre. It's great to be with you. I will just say, being an elected official in the city of Lynn is one of the highest honors one could ever have and achieve, because what it entails is being in the community 24/7. Numerous events across our great city happen, not just on the weekends, but throughout the week, evenings, during the day, and I've been blessed to be a part of that, either informally, what I support with donations from my campaign, frankly, to a lot of both civic, athletic organizations, community organizations throughout the city. But I started volunteering, and I learned how to cut my teeth as a volunteer at Kiley Park in the 90s. I'm going as far back as I was the youngest Lynn Shore Little League president at 19 years old, running a Little League and in charge of, or co-founder of the Kiley Park Association. I'm very proud of my record of being in the community. As I matured as an adult, I was on boards at LEO. I served with Laura Gallant, Lynn Economic Opportunity. I also was on the Community Development Citizens Advisory Board, volunteer roles, and then got into a formal education where I earned 3 degrees at Salem State College, my bachelor's, my master's, and my CAGS degree, a certificate of advanced graduate study, in order to go back into the classroom of Lynn. And I taught for 12 years at Thurgood Marshall Middle School and English High School throughout the 2000s, and decided to run for public office in 2015. and I'm now in my 4th term or my 8th year, and you folks were so gracious to me in re-electing me 4 times prior, and I'm hoping, #1 on the ballot, that on November 7th, you'll cast another vote, as I have been members now of all of the organizations, and I recall fondly when you were putting up the graphic Tish, knocking with Jeff Crosby for John Tierney for the New Lynn Coalition many moons ago, and not knocking politically for him, but explaining the concept of New Lynn Coalition to me over 13 years ago. And that's a moment I'll never forget. And thank you to Jeff, and thank you to everyone else who makes it happen.
Good evening, everyone. Thank you to New Lynn Coalition for having this event tonight. My name is Nicole McLean. I am number 6 on the ballot and humbly asking for one of your 4 votes on November 7th. My service began as a U.S. veteran when I joined the National Guard in 1997. I began working as a supply specialist in the National Guard, so I was serving my country, and I served my country for about 11 years with 2 deployments to Iraq, one in 2004 and one in 2008. Upon returning home, I worked really hard to buy my first home with the intention of opening a home-based childcare service, which I ran and operated for 6 years, serving the youngest residents of Lynn, 0 to 5 years old. After that, I went on to work as a children's librarian at the Lynn Public Library in Lynn for about 2 years. I did love that job. Currently, I am still serving the community and helping our youth at the Salvation Army, where I work with their youth in their after-school program. Also, I am the founder and president of North Shore Juneteenth Association, an organization that promotes the positive images of Black Americans in our community and on North Shore as a whole. I am constantly giving back to my community. I am committed to giving back to my community, and I believe actions speak louder than words, and I have put in a lot of action. So please vote for me on November 7th, number 6. Thank you.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Hamid, for those who don't know me. I want to thank the New Lynn Coalition for sponsoring this quorum. I want to thank for the opportunity to be here. It's so wonderful to see everyone tonight. I have been in the City Council for 12 years. I want to thank you all for giving me the opportunity, and I think I have to do a very good job. I made a difference for this in the city, and I respectfully ask to send me back so I can continue to be your voice at City Hall for 2 more years. And for this past year, I have been involved in a lot of organizations. I joined the board member of the LISORO, and also I was delegated to a North Shore Labor Council, representing for my union, SEIU 509. Also, I was a board member of River Credit Union and the Project Yes, and a few more from Lynn on Beach as well. And I enjoy what I do, and every day I love what I do for the city, and I have passion, and so every day I meet so many people. I help a lot of people, and I work extremely well with my colleagues in the council, with the mayor, all 3 mayors, and Mayor Kennedy, McGee, and Jared Nicholson, and also with our state reps, state senators, and our representative for Setmore and John Tierney. So I want to continue to do what I'm doing right now, and I have the passion for it. And please consider me as your 4 votes on November 7th, number 7 on the ballot. Thank you very much.
Thank you, candidates. I will be presenting our first question on education. We can start with Jose, go down, and come back around. We know that our city schools face many challenges, with 76% of students coming from low-income families, 36% of our students are English language learners, and 85% considered to be high needs. The dropout rate is 4.2% in 2021, and the graduation rate is 83%. Both are slight improvements. We know that the City Council does not direct the Lynn Public Schools, but your voice and advocacy are important. What are your thoughts on how to improve Lynn Public Schools?
Thank you for the great question. My God. Thank you for the great question. Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
But first of all, I think we have all the schools that we have here in Lynn, beside the Marshall, which is new now. We need to rebuild all those old schools. And besides rebuilding them, we need to equip them with the new technologies of the 21st century. Also, the school, the classrooms are packed. And we need to work, I think the school department needs to work a little bit more on that to make sure we have less students per teachers. Besides that, I think we need to equip our teachers better and increase their salary. Because our teachers, they give a lot to our children. You know, they are the ones who are teaching our children outside our home. So I think we need to work, and I'm diligently will be working along with the school committee on anything that will better our education for our children. I have, like I said, 6 children. They all went to the public school system here, and I think we can do a lot better. Thank you.
Thank you for the question. I think it's important to support our teachers. I think, you know, there's a lot of stress certainly coming out of the pandemic. And certainly teachers had to kind of rethink education and how they taught, you know, being online, and the effects of the pandemic on the children that are in the classroom now that are struggling, and how to identify that and support the children and their families. A lot of the children in the city of Lynn, like you said, coming from low to moderate income families, so their parents and their caregivers are often not available to help their student to kind of achieve their greatness. And a lot of that falls back onto the educators and the administration, and it's important to always support the teachers, whether it's in benefits or really just listening to what they have to suggest. I commend the school committee for choosing our first Latina superintendent of schools. I think it's important for the students in the city to be in a classroom of educators that look like students. I think it's important for us as city councilors to always fund net school spending. It hadn't been in the past, but that's something that we've always done, and make sure that the mayor's office has always done, because those different programs are important to continue funding, and as best we can to support, again, the teachers and the administration to help parents and help the educators. Thank you.
Thank you for the question. If I get elected, I will definitely push for more funding for teachers, especially to hire more people of color. City of Lynn, we have a lot of kids that come from a lot of different backgrounds, and we definitely need teachers that look like them, and they can communicate better with them. I believe that our teachers are overwhelmed right now in the classroom, are just overcrowded, and most of the times some of the students, they come with a lot of trauma and they have problems, and they take that frustration on the teachers, and some of the teachers, they need a lot of help, especially counseling. And we don't want to overwork our teachers. I believe that most of our children, they should be in an after-school program, regardless whether they behave or don't behave. They all should be in an after-school program, especially playing sports. I believe that we should take especially more care to our mental health, to educate a little bit more our teachers about to get more people to get people that can help with mental health, because that's one of the biggest problems that we have. And especially the language barrier, that's a problem. We need to hire maybe more Latinos and whatever the language speaker school that they could actually help for those. And that's all I gotta take on that. Thank you.
Thank you, Nicole. I don't think it would be a surprise that I think my colleagues would agree on educational issues. My colleagues tend to come to me, being a former teacher and a member of the Lynn Teachers Union. I work for the State Federation, which is the American Federation of Teachers, Massachusetts, a member of the North Shore Labor Council. I think I am the foremost point person in terms of school issues, although when they come across the council, it's usually in a budgetary form. But some of the things we've worked on collectively, and I see a lot of either former teachers out there or current teachers that are supporting our causes. The biggest game changer for us in the last few years has been the Student Opportunity Act, bringing valuable dollars, direct services to our children as a gateway city. We changed the funding formula. We pushed hard at the State House to do that. Another important criteria is kids need to come to school and expect to be fed, well fed, because we don't know if they're getting their food at their homes. So we support breakfast and lunch. It's called After the Bell, and it's a state-funded initiative, but it doesn't happen without our advocacy, through the union, through our community, through our teachers, through everyone pushing in the same direction, rowing in the same direction. Very proud of our diversity, equity, and inclusion. Faustina Cuevas on the city side. I was so pleased to see the school department embark on that very position and fill that for the school department. Roger mentioned social emotional learning, the curriculum, and all the supports that come with that. Wraparound services is a term you may hear. We need to do more of it, and I have 30 seconds. I could go on and on. My list is extensive. But we've got to really make sure that we can improve upon the facilities, like Pickering coming in 2026, like the green grants that we're taking advantage of at Hood, Lynn Tech, and Druitt's coming up. Thank you. I'm out of time.
Hello everybody. So our school system, as my colleagues have said, we do need to make sure we're hiring teachers of color, and I know New Lynn Coalition is already working on that and making sure that happens. We need to do more community outreach through our Lynn Public School system, and I'm happy that we have the Welcome Center that allows our parents and families to come in and have a way to really navigate the Lynn Public School system. We also need to work on inclusive curriculum. I don't want to have our cultures. There's so many cultures in Lynn that are expansive, and I don't want to have our kids continue to wait to be included in that curriculum and make sure that they are seeing themselves and hearing about themselves and learning about their culture in our school system. I think that's something that's very important. I would love to see our facilities improved. Our classrooms are very small and, like they said, overcrowded. Our teachers have inadequate supplies, and some of them are paying for supplies themselves. So all these types of things need to stop happening. We need to better support our teachers in that way. I would love to see mentor programs for our first-year teachers. So the Lynn Public School System doesn't always give a new teacher a mentor and someone that can help him or her get through the first year of school of that job. And it's a very hard job, so they need somebody, a tenured teacher to help them get through that. And that's something that we should look into doing more of. And I believe that a program that prioritizes the success of our new educators would reduce turnover. So I think that's important. And thank you so much.
Thank you for the question, Jeff. Education is the key to success. We all know that, and supporting our teachers and school administrators and students are very, very important. We cannot deny that. And as City Council, our job is to work with the school committee members and the teachers and the school administrator, and work with among ourselves and the mayor and state legislator, just to find funding to make sure what they really need. So we have to get report from our school committee because they're the expert and they work with our teachers every day, and we have to know what our school system really needs. But we all know that come up to the money, so we need new school. We need to fix our school because our schools falling apart, and we don't have enough money to do that. And this 30+ students in each class is unacceptable. We can't accept it. That's why they can't study. And plus, like Brian said, food is important. So yeah, we a big part of that. We have been working on that to make sure they get nutritious food for our students, because when they get a good nutrition food, so they can do better, they can focus better. Because I've been through that when I had nothing to eat, so I couldn't study. So I understand what our students need right now. And but the most important, just continue to do what we have to do from the council part, and to get funding and to help our students. So like okay, also like some of like I said, yeah, we need more bilingual teachers, definitely, and I push for that as well. So we do what we can to help our students, to make them successful, compete for the 21st century job. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for the question. It was what are your thoughts on how to improve them in public schools? So I just want to acknowledge that I see some of my former teachers in the crowd over here in the corner. This morning I saw some elementary school teachers in my neighborhood, public school and elementary school teachers. I wanted to tell everybody I've been at all of our 18 elementary schools since I announced. Every morning I went to a school twice. I went to every middle school twice. I went to the 2 Catholic schools in our city to talk to the teachers, to talk to the parents, and to talk to the principal, and talk to the kids, just to get a hands-on experience with what's going on in schools. It's obvious that our schools are overcrowded. I did look at the budget before I retired. We mentioned the Student Opportunity Act. The Lynn Public Schools got $26 million more this year than last year, and hopefully that goes directly into the classrooms to help our teachers. Is that working? Yeah. The number one issue, obviously, is reducing class sizes. How do we reduce class sizes? And teacher retention. I spoke to a lot of teachers. Teachers are leaving the system. How do we retain our teachers, and how do we reduce our class sizes are the biggest issues. Obviously, building new schools, right? This has been going on for decades. Building new schools, we need new schools. I will support new schools. The MSBA funding formula, Senator Crichton introduced a bill to revamp that formula so gateway cities and big cities like Lynn get more funding. We need more fair share funding. We have a lot of new residents coming into the city. The schools have classrooms of 30, 35 kids in the classroom. So it's very, very important to reduce that. I went on the website today. I downloaded the superintendent's message. Dr. Alvarez, I met her at the senior center earlier in the week. We had a brief conversation. I offered my support when I'm elected to the council to anything she needs leading our schools. But class size, safety, and graduation rates are also important to me. Classical was 86%, English was 82%, and Lynn Tech, this is off testing in Lynn public school sites, 98% graduation rates. We need to increase those rates and decrease our classroom sizes. Thank you.
Thank you. Lynn United for Change will be presenting our next question on housing. We can start with Hong Net.
Hi everyone, my name is Cinda Dunn and I'm representing Lynn United. Thank you to all of the candidates for being here tonight. So more than half of Lynn households pay over 30% of their income towards rent or mortgage, which makes them cost-burdened by federal standards. And the majority of these cost-burdened residents are actually severely cost-burdened. And that means, spending way over 50% of their income just on housing alone. This kind of unaffordability is forcing people to make really crazy decisions like choosing between rent and food and medication and other basic human needs. And it is pushing many of our neighbors, including longtime Lynners, Lynn residents, out of their own city. Despite this, most of the new housing being built is unaffordable luxury homes, as we've all seen going up. The owners of some of these new buildings are having trouble filling all of their apartments, and there are a rising number of evictions in places like the Caldwell, which is on Monroe Street. As a counselor, What will you do to make housing more affordable for Lynn residents and prevent people from being displaced out of the city that they love? For example, will you advocate for some form of rent control in Lynn? And will you support a creation of small real estate transfer fee on high-value property sales with those funds being used to help create affordable housing? We would appreciate a yes or no answer about those two policies, along with whatever other comments you have. Thank you.
So you just want me to say yes and no? That's all?
Yes or no, and any other comments you have on affordable housing in Lynn.
Okay. Yes, affordable housing is actually all needed. Right now we have about 45,000 units for affordable housing. It sounds a lot, but it's not enough because we have what, 100,000 people in our city, and about 50% of our residents will need some kind of assistance, especially housing. It's not really enough. And yeah, we passed the crucial zoning for affordable housing trust, and Jeff is a steering committee there. So but we still need more, and I understand that because people are moving out, and I will advocate for more affordable housing, and we will do whatever we can. We talk with investors. To see if we can put more into the trust and also build more buildings, but we have to be a little mindful because for the smaller ones, they might not be able to afford to be here. So our goal is to attract small businesses. So that's where we can help them. But yeah, so I would say yes for the rent control, because rent control is a good way to not to push people out of the city, and also to prevent gentrification. So we want people to live side by side. We don't want to separate the wealthy and unwealthy, and also by not doing that, we force people to live in an unsafe place, which is we don't want that to do that. We want everybody to have a quality of living, and this is human rights actually. So housing is we need to have a good housing, and that I support 100% rent control, and I do what I can to make sure that we push it further, harder work with everyone to include that in this. And I appreciate for your question. Thank you.
Thank you to Lynn United for Change for that question. I do support rent control, of course, and I will advocate and talk to the state delegation when they're advocating to support that. And I also support the transfer fee, which I just recently learned about. I did not know about it until I received that question on a questionnaire in the past from the United. So I looked into it a little bit more, and it does seem to be beneficial, and that it will be beneficial. It's not going to be a transfer fee on people that are buying, one-family homes, or it will be more of huge, expensive housing being purchased, and that transfer fee will go toward building affordable housing. So that's another way of us to fund the affordable housing that we need. I also realize that there's a lot of abandoned buildings in Lynn that could probably be rehabbed and used for affordable housing. And I do believe the Lynn Housing Plan identified some of these buildings, and I would continue to support that so that the Lynn Housing Plan can move forward. And I also support an increase in the overall affordable housing percentage. Right now it's at 10%, and that is a start, and everybody's happy about that. But if we can move that up to 20%, because 10%, if 100 units are built, only 10 of those units will be affordable, and I think that that's just not enough. We need to have more affordable units in each development. And I also would support the housing trust as well. If a developer does not want to do the 10%, they can put money into the housing trust, and that money will be then used to build more affordable housing in our city. So yes, I'm saying yes to it all. Thank you.
Thank you. I'll take a first minute to just say what we have been doing over the last term. In the past 2 years, we have, as my colleagues have alluded to, that we passed the Lynn Housing Production Plan, which included affordability. There's more to do, no doubt. The old Marshall properties being repurposed on Porter Street to be senior housing, affordable housing, with care providers that are going to be doing senior servicing. Similarly, up on Linfield Street at the Union Hospital site will be an additional, in total, 156 affordable units for seniors, so Lynners can remain in Lynn at an affordable price. Now, we know it's not enough. We need a gateway project north too, right? What we did over 10 years ago now on Washington near the college. It was a collaborative effort between labor, community, and Lynn Housing. So I have advocated for rent control. It's a statewide issue. It must be passed from the legislature to offer a local adoption. I've sent testimony in regarding that. So yes, on rent control, if it were to come to the council, I would try to champion that with my colleagues. It takes 6 votes, I would believe, a vast majority, or a majority, simple majority, to pass. So we'd have to educate and inoculate members that may not know enough about the topic. But I want to see where it is. Mike Conley's got a bill out of Cambridge, and I want to see where that is this session before a local can take it up, local council, etc. And I just wanted to define what a small fee would be on the transfer fee. I'm not familiar what percentage, but I'm open to that concept. It's a very creative concept, and I say tax the rich anytime we can. Thank you. Just in time.
Thank you for that question. Affordable housing, I'm all in favor of it. I believe that we need to do more to keep our families together. Especially in our city, I want to see more apartments that are being built with 3 or maybe 4 bedrooms. Because right now everybody's building only single bedroom, 2 bedrooms. What happened to the family that have 3 and 4 kids? Where are they going to go? I like a concept of if they can give people the opportunity to rent to own. I believe this is, I like that. I think that if you can put some of that money aside, if I was a landlord that owned a large amount of tenants, I would like to get a percentage of that money and put it aside for them, so that way they can get an opportunity someday to buy a place for themselves. The rent control, honestly, I need to know more about it. You know, if it's brought up to me and they explain it well, I will be in favor of it. But this time I need to stay neutral on that because I need to know more about it. And thank you for the opportunity again.
Thank you for the question. I think sitting here and listening to these questions and what questions are presented to us this time, if you fall back 2 years, the questions that you had then are things that we took up as a council. Inclusionary zoning, affordable housing trust fund. As the ARPA liaison, listening to many of you advocate for additional funding for housing, and as the city council advocated to the mayor, the mayor's final decision was to increase a $3 million, I believe, payment from a portion from the Affordable Care Act towards that housing trust fund to get that started, and other continued projects that if they don't want to meet that 10% goal that we have in our inclusionary zoning, to pay into that fund to present these projects as we're moving forward. So the issues that you're bringing and that you have brought are have been taken up by this council. We're here to listen to you. We're advocating for you. That's what our job has been. That's what we've been doing. As far as as far as rent control, I certainly want to see what bills are being presented at the state level and how they'll affect gateway cities like Lynn, urban communities like Lynn and other communities. We see how it affects as far as schools and how those percentages fall off. So see where it is at the state level, and then we can improve on that. Most of the money for funding for affordable housing and rent control is going to be coming from the state and federal level. So it's up to them to lead and for us to follow through on what they're proposing and bringing it right here to our community and speak for the residents themselves. We're advocating for everybody in the city of Flint. That's our job as councilors, and that's what we've done over these these past few years. So the questions that you are presenting tonight, you'll see the 4 that are elected to serve along with the other 7 ward councilors. You'll see those issues continue to be brought forward because we do listen.
Can you hear me? All right. Thank you for that great question. As a matter of fact, that issue of affordable housing is one of my topics on my platform. And I know how people are fighting with this. I know how people are suffering the issue of affordable housing. Even though the council, they approve a 10% on inclusionary zoning. 2 years ago, we talked a lot about that, and that was part of my platform. And one of my proposals is that we have at least 20 to 25% of affordable for affordable housing for inclusionary zoning. The cost of rent is forcing people out of our city. And as an example, myself, I pay rent. And my rent has been increased in the last 12 months, like 3 times. It's very expensive. The last time they did it, it was because they rebuilt the building and then they pass it on that to us. So on the 2 questions, I'm in favor of rent control, and I actually have been advocating for it. When we were working on the ARPA money, I went to the city hall to fight for that, for rent control and to have more money for our people. And so yes, actually, if I have 30 seconds, I think, for example, not only for rent control, but my sister, she just bought a house in Connecticut because she couldn't afford it to buy a house here in Lynn because it's too expensive. So we need to work diligently on that. Thank you.
Thank you. This is a difficult question, a difficult answer. Rent control is a hot topic issue, not only in Lynn, statewide and nationally. It's an issue nationally. Everyone's going through it. On Zillow today, they said the average rent in Massachusetts for all apartments is $3,000 a month, $970 more than a national trend. So Massachusetts is one of the highest and most expensive areas to live in Lynn. For me to sit here and say yes, yes, no, no, I think that would be remiss or inappropriate to just take a stand and say, yeah, I'm for that or I'm against that. I don't know enough about it. I can't just come in here and say yes or no. Rent control has its benefits and it has its negatives. It has its pros and it has its cons, right? Massachusetts is the 15th most populous state with the 24th highest rate of foreclosures in the country. I want to recognize Isaac. Is Isaac still here? When I got out of law school, I got behind in my bills, right? I was behind in my mortgage, and he helped me. So I'm telling you that tonight. I understand coming for help, looking for help. I was the ARPA compliance officer. I wasn't the decision maker. The council and the mayor decided to allocate funds both to the housing authority and other groups to help people pay their rent and pay their bills. That's important to do that. But here's my most important issue. We want to help Lynn people, right? When we have affordable housing, we want Lynn people to get into these houses and to get into the apartments. We don't want people coming in from Boston and other cities. We want to help Lynn people. And we also want our surrounding neighbors to help as well, right, with their affordable housing. Lynn can't do it all, but I am open to working with anybody on these issues, on rent control, the real estate fee. I thought I read the Essex County deeds already imposed a fee of over $1 million. I'm not sure. On a house over $1 million, an additional fee. But that is something that's very interesting and attractive to me, adding an additional fee to help out. But we also got to remember about the landlords too. We don't want landlords to have, there'll be a control on their rent, and then they can't pay their bills, and then the house gets in disarray, and then it's run down again. So I'm here to work with you, and I'm here to listen. Thank you.
Thank you, candidates. Echo will be presenting the next question on community safety. We'll start with Rogelio, and then Brian Fields. Go that way and around. Thank you.
Good evening. This question is personal to me. I live in East Lynn on a one-way quiet street. And a group of individual young folks got into an argument. They did not live in the neighborhood. And shots were fired. And my neighbor, who was sitting in her living room watching TV, was shot seriously. And from that moment on, I took it personal to make sure that the street that I lived on was a safe street, because we have to be involved. And today she is doing well. But I just want people to know this is a question that's very, very personal to me. We know that in the past few months in Lynn, we've had a number of higher profile violent incidents. Almost all of these incidents have involved young folks. We know that when youth are not engaged in their schools and communities, they are more likely to engage in criminal activity. Although we have heard from the police how they plan to address and respond to violence when it occurs, but we also know that responding to violence does not necessarily prevent violence. As a council member, what kind of proactive strategies would you advocate for to promote community safety? And additionally, how might these strategies support our youth in reconnecting with the community? Thank you.
Thank you very much. That's actually one of the most important questions that we have, because it's actually affecting all of us as a community. Two of the young men that died the other day in the incident that we had over the, I think it was Labor Day weekend, they're customers of mine, and they related to Jose Encarnacion right here. I believe that we all need to start our home as a community. We need to spend more time with our children and try to, talk to them and teach them about violence. I think that they spend too much time playing video games, and most of us always working. We need to dedicate a little bit more time for our kids. We don't want to pass out the burden into the police and the teachers. I believe that we as the parents, we need to take responsibility for a lot of the problems that's going on in our city. I believe that we need more police officers, but at the same time, they need to be people like us, people Spanish, Black, Indian, all kinds of race, and they need them to be more engaged with our community. We don't want them in a cruiser. I want them to be in playground, talking to kids, to be a role model to them. And also in our schools, sometimes some of those kids don't behave well. They don't get to participate in an after-school program like, sports. I think those are the kids that need the help the most. I think every child should participate in a school program after school. That would definitely help a lot with our community with the violence. Thank you very much.
Thank you for the question. I think what I heard was what's important. And when violence happened in your area, you didn't just sit back and wait. You took action, and that action results in a reaction. And you want people to listen to that reaction, to build on that reaction. And what we did as a community is we gathered together at Ingalls Elementary School after those most recent accidents. And it wasn't just listening to public safety, the Lynn Police, and the Essex County District Attorney. It was listening to other community stakeholders, different groups, like SOA, Stop the Violence, other volunteer organizations that stepped up, other organizations that will step up, that have different ideas. And as community leaders, it's best to listen to all those ideas, because children need mentorship. Some have parents, some have caretakers, some available, some not. Some are working multiple jobs. And what opportunities present themselves to these young men and women, mostly middle age. I know the Lynn YMCA was one of those organizations that did step up during that time and announced that every 7th and 8th grader was eligible for a free admission membership at the YMCA, and the Boys and Girls Club has been doing that for quite some time. So it's different organizations like that and different advocacy and getting groups together, and we'll continue this conversation and moving the city in the right direction. But like you did, and stepped up and took an initiative just in your own neighborhood, that's what we need to do together as a full community if we want to see our community succeed together. Thank you.
Another great question. Thank you so much. That one is also safety is on my platform, because I think we need to have safe neighborhood, but not for one area only, but the whole city. One of the things that I think we should do is that we need more police officers, but we need more police officers that look like us, that look like, see how the room is today, very diverse. So we need to see more police officers that look like us, that they understand our culture and language. So I will advocate for more funding, because I know to have more police officers, we need to have more funding. I will advocate for that. Also, I think we need to have the police, how do you call that, a community policy, to make sure that the police go to the neighborhoods and talk to the kids. We also need more resources to our community, to our black and brown community, because those are the communities who are most affected. As a matter of fact, one of the kids that was killed over a month ago, he was my nephew. And they were celebrating because the next day they were going to college. So I take that very personal too, because it touched me, it touched my family. So we need training for youth, for the young people after school, so they can train for technical jobs. And that's my thought on public safety. Thank you.
Thank you. Just before I start with this question, I just wanted to say something positive. We're all here tonight looking for solutions to a lot of issues in our city, and I want to just acknowledge some things we've done. We've set up the trust fund, right, for the Affordable Housing Trust Fund. It may need to be tweaked or changed, but that's very positive. Not many communities have done that. Also, another thing is the Behavioral Health Intervention Unit at the Lynn Police. 10 years ago, and Deputy Desmaris, he was a captain then, not many cities were doing a behavioral health unit. We've done that, Lynn. We're going to expand on that. So Lynn's come a long way, done a lot of great things. In regards to this question, how do we connect our youth back to the community? I propose, since I announced, to create a mayoral level Office of Community Outreach and Recovery Services. The mayor and the council would appoint a full-time staff member to coordinate all our groups. That we work with everybody in this room, work with our schools. There'd be somebody on the street. We work with the Lynn Drug Court. We can work with all our different treatment providers in the city to coordinate outreach within the entire city. Revere does it, East Boston does it. We should have a mayoral level of Office of Recovery Service and Community Outreach. My friend's a Boston police officer, I mentioned this before, and it comes down to funding. City of Boston has a community service police car in every district. They don't take calls, they go to community meetings. There's an officer in uniform in a police car that goes to the parks, goes to the schools, does not take regular calls, obviously unless there's an emergency, but they're dedicated to that. I don't know if Lynn Police could do that right now due to staffing. I would promote, obviously, bikes through grants, officers on the bikes. I'm a big proponent of motorcycle officers to go to the parks, work with the kids, get off their bikes, play basketball with the kids, be involved in the community a little bit when they have time. We also need to work with Antonio Gutierrez. We need more outreach workers, more community workers on the streets to bring the kids into the schools and into City Hall. Without mentioning any names, when I was at the opera coordinator, I saw an article in the paper about a local musician I didn't even know the kid. I called him up. He didn't think I was who I said I was. He looked at me up on Facebook. I had my black lab as my picture. He thought I was a fake. And he came down to City Hall, and he was apprehensive. They were afraid of City Hall. People didn't speak the language that they were speaking. And today he received ARPA funding, and they're doing a good program downtown. So we have to be more open to having people come in. Thank you.
Thank you for the questions. Yeah, I know that besides depending on the police department, so we as parents need to work our part as well. Like someone said, we need to know where our kids go and what they do and who they hang out with. And yes, I'm a big favor of hiring more police officers because we don't have enough police officers. I rode with a police officer at night and see how they do, and they do a wonderful job. So they do the best they can, and they talk to people, they get to know the kids, get to know the community, and they know people by name, they know exactly where they hang out. So that's a plus, and we need to do more of that, and that's why we need more funding to fund the police department. So that because right now we only funded 10%, less than 10%, but our budget is not enough. And also we need a crime analysis. Because I feel like because we need to put money in that so we can hire crime analysis so they know exactly where they are, and because they have specialty camera, what they do. And also there's a professor who specializes in crime activities and gang activity in University of Salem State University, I'm sorry. So yes, they reached out to me and a couple of them, so they want to get involved, they want to help us, they want to help the mayor and the police department, and so I think that's a great idea, and I'm going to set up a meeting with them soon, and I will invite the mayor to meet with them as well. Hopefully they can help us with something. And I also in favor of bring back Crime Watch. I know we haven't talked about Crime Watch for a long time, and I used to help to run that as well. So I think that's important because each neighborhood we need to focus on our neighbors, so make sure our neighborhood is safe. So that's my thought. Thank you.
This is a very great question. Thank you for the question. In order to reduce crime or to combat crime in our community, I believe that we need additional community helpers. And I believe an unarmed crisis response team is the additional community helpers that we would need. I don't think our city should be intimidated by creating an unarmed crisis response team because as people on this panel are saying, the police department needs assistance, they need help, and that would be the help that they could use. I feel like we need to be more open-minded as to what we are doing to safeguard our community and how we're safeguarding it. We can be more creative with the way we're doing things, and I believe looking into the unarmed crisis response team that's trying to be created in this city would be a good thing for everyone in this crowd to do. Just look that up and get some information, educate yourself on what has already been happening around creating this response team. As far as our youth, I have been working on a council on adolescence. I wrote up some of that council and it's being reviewed right now by the mayor and other people before it can be brought to task. But it would be made up of adults and children and young adults. So I was looking at 16 to 26-year-olds for the young adults and youth. But this council is about connecting our city and our students and youth that aren't students of LPS to resources that are needed for them to have a better future and to be more connected to our community. And it will be coming from their voice. It will be youth voice being included in these decisions. And I think that's really important. And I think that would help our students and youth and just young adults in our community feel more connected to our community if they have a say in what's going on. So those are some of the things that I am proposing.
Thank you, Councilor. I just want to first acknowledge the gentleman who spoke of that horrific incident, and I'm so happy to hear that your neighbor is recovering well. But it's something that we all worry about. In a stray bullet or an innocent bystander, some of the violence that were occurring could happen to any of us. I live in a busy street. I fear for my own family at times because you don't know about the randomness of gun violence in particular. So it affects us all. We all have done the parades and the walks and the marches and the preventing of the violence and as a community, but it's not enough. There are so many other opportunities and programs. I know going last, a lot of my colleagues and candidates have touched on them, but you do have the Lynn Youth Street Advocacy. You have Stop the Violence Lynn. You have the programs at Boys and Girls Club, Girls Inc., the discounted rate, free membership at YMCA. Collectively, we're all doing our part, it seems, but we've got to bring everything together to the forefront. We've got to make more use of our Lynn public schools. We've got to increase, perhaps, our school resource offices. Those are the folks on the ground. Right now, it's only in our middle schools, our 3 middle schools. It ought to be expanded, I think, to high school to the point if you have the right people on the ground listening, doing more listening than talking, and maybe not like a teacher, but as an officer, there are opportunities there to find out what's going on in our community vis-a-vis violence, drug addiction, mental health issues, and there's a lot to say in just 30 seconds, but I think it's all about education. We do have a Lynn Youth Drop-In Center that's now open in the evenings. It will continue being open throughout the winter months. Different programs that the city does, Lynn Parks and Recreation, albeit it's in the summer, but it's putting youth to work as well. The best way to keep kids off the street is to put them to work and get them a job. So we have to do more of this. I'm in favor of that. We'll continue to press it, and we'll do our best to continue this fight. Thank you. That was last, right?
Yes, thank you. So we do have time for a question from the audience, maybe 2. The first question is, please list these issues in order of importance to you as you see it. Low-income housing, traffic, violence, schools, municipal taxes. Let me know if you need me to repeat that.
Would you mind?
Yes. Low-income housing, traffic, violence, schools, municipal taxes.
Again, slower.
Slower? Yes. Pause after. Yes. Low-income housing, traffic, violence, schools, municipal taxes. And we can start with John.
I like that. Right? Okay. Thank you. You know, I'll just be honest with you. This is a tough question. I mean, everything is important, right? Schools. We talked about the schools, how important it is to educate our kids, and you know, equally and fairly. Violence. Nothing worse than what we saw last month. I have to say the traffic and the parking and the speeding is one of the #1 issues I hear knocking doors all over the city. Low-income housing is very important to maintain housing for Lynn people that can afford their rent. In coupling the housing with income equality, rent control, and all these issues we talked about, also comes back to making sure people get a fair and decent wage. Municipal taxes, I mentioned at the last debate, everyone that pays taxes, every homeowner that pays taxes, if your taxes go up $100, that raises $1.8 million for the city budget. $200 raises $3.6 million. So they're all important. I'm not trying to evade the question. These are all the issues that we addressed. These are all your questions tonight. So you're trying to make us pick what we thought was the best question. They're all good questions and all things that have already been undertaken by city leaders, but they need to be expanded on and addressed and done fairly and equally, including everybody.
Well, this question is very very interesting and very difficult at the same time, because I think they're all important. First of all, education is key. In everything, we need to have a better education, more educated our kids better. Low-income housing, it's a must that we need to work because more than 40% of hard-working people income go onto housing. Violence, that's a hot topic. It's a topic that's touched every one of us. We don't feel secure in the city, especially all going on the last few months. So we need to work hard on that and work together with the police department and the community. Traffic, it is a problem around the city. The speeding, how the street look, that we need to pave our street, that they don't look good, so we need to work on that too. And municipal taxes, that's important, that's also very important. We need to attract more investment, more businesses to the city to avoid getting the owners and the homeowners and single regular people to pay more taxes, but we need more investment and good company to pay good salary to the employee. Thank you.
I thought I was going to make it through the whole forum without having to pull out my pen, but I wanted to make sure that I did number, like you asked, how I felt the question should be numbered. For number one, I did the low income, because I think that kind of encompasses everything. If you're struggling to pay bills, your health is affected, your mental health, your well-being is affected, and it affects everybody else around you in your household that are indirectly affected, even the children, especially the children. Number two on my list was violence. Okay, it was close with schools, but if you don't feel safe, you're not going to be able to learn. So that's why I put violence at number two, and things that we need to address that as a more immediate concern. At number three, close to it, was schools. Without education, our children are our future. Education is key for everyone to succeed. For number four, traffic, because that seems to be everybody's concern as we knock doors, listening to everybody just driving too fast. And it's not just on the main streets, it's the back roads. It's from Ward 1 to Ward 7 and every neighborhood in between. We saw two young kids get hit on Holyoke Street in a school zone where 20% of our school population was just within the last month. Those are serious issues. And then number five would be taxes. It certainly doesn't have to be here. It could be closer to the top. But if we had to name everything, municipal taxes, death and taxes, that's the saying. But people struggle. I think, they all fall in together and support one another in a good way and in a negative way. And taxes kind of just falls slightly below the other four, but certainly the low income, I feel, is number one. And those are issues that we can take as a city council, and we have taken them and will continue to take them. Thank you.
Thank you for the question. It's a very long one too. See if I do my best to answer. Violence to me is we need to work better on that to try to solve that, because first of all we need to feel safe. We need to feel safe within our city. We are already working on that, doing the best we can. As I said, as a parent, teaching our kids to behave better and working together with our police department. Low-income housing, the city already got something going on that I think is improving and it's working. It's going to take some time, so please be patient. To me, taxes is very important. We need to create more businesses, especially downtown Lynn. That's how we're going to get taxes every year being raised. We need to keep it up where they are. If we bring more businesses, that's how we create more taxes that are good for our city. Traffic, we need to work with especially National Grid to stop digging our street the way they do it and just leave it like that. They need to work better. And obviously, working with our police department to see how we can slow people down, especially with the school zones out. And I don't know if I look schools, we definitely need to build, especially 2 new schools right away. It's a must. And maybe later on, build a couple more schools that are very old in our city. Education is like #1, so we need to have good schools so that way kids can feel really good about themselves, going to school, have the right sources to get educated. Thank you.
Thank you. I may be biased, but #1 for me is schools. Our public schools, 17,000 of our children rely on them each and every day for future outcomes. #2, I have down as violence, not just because of the recent uptick, but we have to have a systemic plan to ensure that our city and its image improves and that people feel safe. Public safety is a huge concern throughout the city, particularly in our downtown areas, and it's a nonstop battle to improve the culture, the image, everything that goes along with preventing the violent cycle. Low-income housing, I do have third. We have focused on it quite a bit. I totally agree with colleagues who say, you know, it is so important to offer the opportunities that we have. I'm so proud of, about 1.5 years ago, I listened at City Hall during the APRA presentations. We did a listening tour. It happened to be at City Hall. Advocates after advocates, but the stories, the personal stories that were told resonated with me. The young girl, I'll never forget it, who lived in a 1-bedroom, 1-bath with 6 other strangers, including her mom, sharing a 1-bathroom at all hours of the night and not knowing who was going to be in that bathroom, using that bathroom at any given time. Doubled up, couch surfing, trying to make ends meet in an impossible situation in our city. We dedicated half of the ARPA money, over $30 million, to some areas and pots of affordability that you will start seeing the fruits of that labor in the coming months and years. 30 seconds. 4, traffic. Speed humps, you'll see now more digital speed, know your speed, so it's conscious and you're trying to hopefully slow down if you're going too fast. Enforcement is the key there. It's happening throughout the city. We're doing bump outs now on Pleasant Street. And 5, I have taxes. We always adopt the lowest residential property rate in December for our homeowners. And I may lose Roger's vote on this, but we do put it over to the commercial business owners of the city. But residentially, we adopt the lowest residential property tax rate that we can legally in the state. And we love state money. We need state ed and regular money to come in. So thank you.
Okay, so for me, #1 was low-income housing. I feel like if families and children are struggling and can't pay their rent and can't buy food and can't tend to their basic needs because they're not being able to, you know, afford where they live, that's #1. I mean, and then schools, because a child that is not being negatively affected by their rent being too high and their mom not being able to feed them properly, or their dad not being able to feed them properly, or their guardian, then, you know, they're not going to be able to attend school and thrive and grow and learn as they should. #3 is violence for me, because these things are really interconnected. I feel like, you know, if you're a child and you're trying to walk to school, or now maybe you're afraid to even do that, but as a family, as a resident in Lynn, period, walking the streets is hard for you maybe now because of all the things that have been going on. So as a community, we need to really start looking for solutions to how we can mitigate violence in our city, and like I said, creative solutions, not just the police, but other solutions as well. Traffic is #4 for me, because again, safety. I mean, violence and traffic and all these things are, you know, tend to, you know, deal with the safety in our city. So our seniors are always saying how they can't cross the street. Our seniors actually had to have a picketing time where they were walking with signs trying to advocate for themselves. They're seniors. Why do they have to do that? Why are our seniors walking with signs saying, please don't hit me? It's insane. And #5 is municipal taxes, because it's at the end. Maybe it shouldn't be. I know it means a lot to people. I own a home right now. My taxes has never gone down. Every year it goes up. So yeah, let's do something with our corporations because they get tax breaks, but you know who doesn't get tax breaks? Us.
Well, so yes, number one for me would go to violence, because we want to make sure people feel safe so we can attract businesses and visitors. And number two, I would go for low income housing, because it does affect the kids mentally and even parents, so that create violence among the family. If you can't afford to pay bills, you have to focus on renting. So that's number two. Number three for me would go to school, yeah, because education is important. So every kid needs to be educated. That's for their success for the future. That's the key to unlock their success. So that we have to do everything we can to support that. And number four, what's that? Number four would be traffic. Yeah, traffic is a big issue right now. People complaining. It seems like the top topic right now in this election cycle. And so we need to do everything that's possible. Work with the DPW, police officer, and so make sure we have signs. We have street bomb on a small street. Not big street. You can't do that. And so that's important. And it's also to create a lot of accident and hazard for our kids to go to school, because I live close to 5 schools in my area. I know how difficult for everyone to get by. And the last one, number 5, I would go for taxes. Yeah. Why couldn't last? Because we already voted for the lowest taxes possible. So we don't want to put any burden on our residents, because no one wants to hear the word taxes. So it's important, but we are already addressing that as well. But for property taxes, we can't do much because it's based on the value of the home price. But we have the right, we have the power to vote down, to vote the lowest possible, and we have done that. Thank you.
Thank you. We have one more question from the audience, and then we're going to go with our closing questions. If you guys can hang in there, feeling good? Okay. All right. We talk about bringing more businesses to our city. However, we don't talk enough of how to help current businesses. What ideas do you have about supporting and growing the businesses that are here? We can start with Nicole, then Hong, then Donald.
All right, in order to help our current businesses, I think educating our businesses about the resources that are available to them is important. I know that when I've gone downtown, being a part of the Lynn Main Streets when it first started, a lot of the businesses didn't know about EDIC and what it was about and how they could access those funds. So raising awareness about the funds that are available and the resources that are available, and making sure these businesses know about them, like going to them and letting them know, because they're busy, they're doing their businesses, and then they're going home. They're not paying attention to the resources that are available to them. So I think it's important to go to them and let them know what's available. And I think Lynn Main Streets can attest to that and help, and also be helpful in that area by educating our business owners and helping them to also take pride in their businesses as well. And also the North Shore Latino Business Association is another resource that has helped many businesses in our community to access funding during COVID, and also to educate them about insurance and things like that are beneficial to them. So I think really how we can benefit our small business owners is by letting them know that we're here to help them, like really going to them and paying attention to what's going on in their business, talking to them, giving them a voice, letting them know they're here. And I don't think a lot of that is happening at the present time. Thank you.
Thank you. Oops. So when I first got elected, I had been pushing for business liaison. So walk downtown, walk to all business owners and provide information what kind of resources we have. And but never picked up, unfortunately, and so I should continue to try it again. And Jim Cowdell, IDSC doing a great job, and so there's another place to go, and we can check with them what we have, and we can spread the words. And like the Latino Business Association and Lynn Chambers of Commerce, those are great resources to great organization to work with, and they have done a lot of good things for our city, and we must work with our state delegation and to see if we can have funding put aside to keep our business stay afloat in our city, and also the traffic is important. We have to make sure, and people fixing streets, so they need to account for because they block a lot of our business. So it's very hard for our business to run business because of they do not take responsibility. So a lot of the equipment leave in front of the businesses. So we need to work on that as well. So hopefully, our council and plus everybody so get together and put pressure on those people to make sure think about our business. We want them to stay. We want them to sustain. We want to do everything we can because business is the backbone of our economy, and we need them to be here, and we want them to be successful. Thank you.
Thank you. How do we help and keep current businesses? I think I would propose having a business summit, maybe at North Shore Community College, right here at the museum. Ask the Lynn Area Chamber of Commerce and the Mayor's Office and EDIC and Community Development to have a large forum and summit. Ask the businesses what they need. Ask them what they want. I have to say I've seen a lot of street sweepers on the street lately. The streets are looking cleaner in my view. I was in Boston when I was the APA coordinator, and the city of Boston has an app on your phone. And they also have a 311 number. I would ask that we could maybe implement that program where a business owner or a resident could just go on the app and put in a complaint. I said this at the last forum, the lights down at City Hall are by the district court and flashing the strobe. And I met a resident that lives on 589 Essex Street, and she was laughing because she said, "Thank you for bringing that up. If someone just put that on the app, you put it on a list, right? And your complaint or your issue would be on a list from an app, or you dial 311 as a senior. The seniors like the idea. You call in, you get a live person. They say, you know, this is Maria Carrasco. She's calling about a broken barrel or whatever and they give you a number, and you track the ticket number, and you go on a list. You need a tree cut. So we need to get better with technology and apps and the phone service for our residents and our businesses. And the second thing is, do the businesses feel City Hall is open and accessible and fair? Can they get what they need quickly? I think we made some improvements. So let's ask them what they think. How can we make it easier for them to open a business and maintain a business? Thank you.
Thank you for the question, very important question. I think something that we need to do, we need to have the authority at the City Hall to get closer to the businesses. Most businesses, when you talk to them out there, most of them feel, when they talk about the City Hall and when we go and talk to them about voting and talk to the people to vote, they say, oh, that they don't do anything for us, that they think that an elected official out there just to, not to do good for them, but they think the opposite. So I think that there should be something to work closely to businesses, and definitely education is key. We need the City Hall, the elected official should talk to the businesses, should educate them on the funds available. I remember during pandemic, there was a lot of funds there, and some businesses, they lost their funds. They didn't know where to go or what to do. Some of them call me because they know, like, I'm a member of North Shore Latino Business Association, so I directed them to Francis, but some of them, they are not members of the association, so they need to go to the City Hall. They couldn't find the help that they needed. And also, and last, I think that businesses should be educated on our environment. We need to work with them to help them to recycling and to have a clean business, so it is more attractive to their clients and to visitors. Thank you.
What we've done so far, or what we've done in the past to assist our businesses during the pandemic struggles, businesses will be able to reach out to EDIC. EDIC reached out to businesses to see what they needed as far as funding, because that's where a lot of the initial grant funding coming during the pandemic went to, was to businesses. what we did when we made decisions how to start spending the ARPA money, the mayor and with the council's support proposed, the first line item was additional funding for small businesses, and I'm happy to say that over 75% of those funds appropriated for businesses were given to women and minority-owned businesses, over 75% through EDIC. What I've done personally, I don't know if anybody here knows Lauren Bateman. Lauren is a talented musician. She and her wife were new to the community. I just happened to see a post on social media, on Facebook, her idea of trying to start up a music school in the city. And it caught my eye, and I reached out to her and got her familiar with EDIC and what programs they offer. And she runs a successful business school on Walnut Street here in Lynn. She had run other businesses outside of Lynn before here. And I'm happy to say, I think, you know, she's a YouTuber, if anybody's YouTube, I don't YouTube, but she's a musician, teaches guitar lessons to people all over the world, and that's her talent, right, starting right here in the city. I believe she has over 100,000 subscribers now. So talent like that is here right in the community, and it's how we recognize that and how we can help support them and get them to the right people that are making those decisions. I think that's what an effective counselor can do. I think that's what we do as a city council, and I hope I can continue doing that for another term.
Well, thank you for the question. For those that don't know me, I own a business right in downtown Lynn on Buffalo Street. The name of the business is April's. To be honest with you, it's a miracle that I'm open. Okay? First was the pandemic, and I was lucky that a friend of mine from the EDIC reached out to me and gave me some funds because I didn't know anything about it. So we need to communicate a little bit better with businesses. And when there's fund in the city, every single business in Lynn should know how we deliver the message. It's up to the officials to help with that. First of all, right after the pandemic that we had to close for many days, we only did takeout. I find out that I have this huge building being built right next to me. Not only that building came, you know, unannounced, I have no idea that was going to happen. They built this building with 176 units and only 40 parking spaces. Right now, if you come to my business, it's a blessing if you can find one parking spot. There's no parking in the city of Lynn at all. Like, it's an emergency, we need parking. You know, that's how you help businesses. We need places where the people can come and park. Because right now, like, especially after they build a building, the National Grid can move up and start digging on my street. And for more than 100 times, they closed my street. And it almost put me out of business. We need to advocate on that. We need some help, please. Thank you.
Well, let me start off by saying, you know, it's no secret or surprise that small business is Lynn's lifeblood to our local economy, provides jobs. I believe in smart growth, not only keeping businesses here, but expanding on new businesses and new arenas of business. I echo my colleagues, again, going last. We did millions of dollars in our economic development office under Jim Cowdell, appropriated during COVID, that literally kept lights on and rent paid up during the pandemic. It was not easy for business owners. Of course, it's still not easy. The digging out continues. Being a successful business owner in Lynn is a luxury. It doesn't just happen overnight. You have to really work at it. It's an ever-changing, you have hard workers like Roger and his family over the years to sustain the business. So we made good use of ARPA funds. On the City Hall side, one of the good things that came out of the pandemic, I will say, is this opportunity to apply for online permitting, to start a new business, to get things done in a streamlining way. There is bill pay now online. If you have the collaboration, we have great organizations. Jose mentioned North Shore Latino Business Association, the Lynn Area Chamber of Commerce. EDIC needs to go out and do the outreach because there are so many, you don't know what they have in their portfolio or their toolkit unless you ask them or you're being proactive. We need to get out into the community and let people know what is available. Grants, small business loans, starter loans for new businesses, incubator loans. EDIC has access to all that, and we need to make sure that it's getting to our residents. Thank you.
Thank you. I would like to say thank you to the other candidates that are here, if they still are here. Judith Wilson from the school committee, Sandra Lopez from the school committee, Natasha from Ward 4, Coco, and if there's any other candidates here, we'd like to recognize you. If you want to stand up, raise your hand. Thank you.
Stacy.
Stacy.
Donna was here.
Okay, for the closing question, why should the people of this community vote for you? We're going to start with Brian LaPierre, then Rogelio, then Brian, and go from there.
Excellent. I'm going first this time. Great. Thank you. Thank you to New Lynn Coalition. Thank you to our great moderator. Thank you to everyone who made time tonight to be here and to those watching when it gets shown on cable access and the web and so forth. I'll keep it simple, I'll keep it brief. I fight for you. I was elected in 2016 overwhelmingly by some of the same people in this room. I don't feel like I've let you down yet. I still have the passion, the energy, the commitment. When I vote in City Hall, that's your vote. I do not take that vote for granted. I am a representative of you, and I understand that you are the ones who put me back into office time and time again. I respectfully ask on November 7th you do it again. I am #1 on the ballot. You have 4 choices. You have 8 great candidates. This will be a very difficult election for all of us. We are all working very hard to earn one of your 4 votes. Lynn means everything to me. I was born and raised here. Spent my whole life trying to make Lynn a better place to live. I'm married to my wife Kelly. I have 2 boys in the public school. Owen, who's at Classical, and Dylan, who is at Pickering. As your city councilor, I respond to nearly 3,000 in 8 years, 3,000 constituent requests that I have closed the books on, either working with the ward councilor or doing it myself as a councilor at large member. People know how to find me. I'm very accessible. My cell phone is on my palm card. My cell phone's on every piece of literature I put out since I began running. I'm not afraid to talk to people. I want to work for you. You pay me to do this work. I love this work, and I'm running to be the person that helps all residents, whether you're a lifelong Lynner and those who maybe even just most recently moved here, and I'm learning and meeting so many of those people. I want to help those people advance in our city, and whether they're going to school here, or they're raising their family here, or they're wanting to start a business like we talked about last question. I want to be your representative. Please give me that trust again, 1 more term on November 7th. Thank you.
Thank you very much for the opportunity. Thank you, New Lynn Coalition. I'm running because I have the devotion, the time, that compassion, and I have the energy. I've been serving all my life in this wonderful community. I want the opportunity to help you, to give you all I have. So that way, please allow me to continue to do so. And November 7th, I'm #2 on the ballot. Please consider voting for me. And let me tell you something else. I haven't stopped working 1 day since I came to this country. I'm a very hard-working person. I don't know what it's like to work 40 hours. I work 70, I work 80 hours a week. I will continue to do so to help you. Please. #2 on the ballot, November 7th. Roger Garcia for Lynn. Thank you very much. God bless you all.
Once again, thank you everyone for taking time out of your evening to be here to help educate yourselves. I want to tell a funny story. A couple months ago, I received a call from a gentleman in the city, an advocate in the city, and during that conversation, it got pretty intense, and he said to me, "I haven't voted for you yet, but I like reaching out to you because you're responsive and you listen." And I hope today, listening to all 7 candidates that are here, I know many of you have chosen someone to advocate for, and I applaud you for that. I think there are 8 great candidates, and this is going to be a close election. And any of the 4 that do get elected on November 7th, they're going to serve the city well. I've been serving the city for the past 6 years, and I hope at some point I can change that yet to a vote. And I think as an educated voter, you may have come here with 1 vote in mind, maybe 2. I hope you'll look up and down the ballot and realize there are 11 councilors that serve on the council, and maybe you're 1 or 2 get elected, maybe 1 does, maybe none. But there are 8 great candidates here stepping up to help serve this community, to listen to your needs, to bring those needs that you're advocating for, because that's what's going to make our city better. I hope I have earned your trust over these past 6 years of listening and serving you. I hope I earn your trust on November 7th, and I hope that you will consider me for one of your 4 votes this election. Thank you.
Thank you to all of you for taking the time to be here today, or your busy time. Thank you to the organization for having us here today. Really appreciate this. Why I'm running because I love public service. I love serving the people. I am one of you. I feel your pain. I know what you think because I live the same life. So I'm humbly asked that you give me one of your 4 votes on November 7th. I'm number 8. I'm the last one on the list, so make me one of the first 4. Three topics that is part of my platform is affordable housing, economic growth, and public safety. You can find me at encarnacionforlin.com. As I said, half of the population, close to half of the population are Hispanic. Nevertheless, we do not have someone at the City Hall. We do not have someone in this important body to represent this community. So I humbly ask once again to vote on November 7th to help the city of Lynn continue to grow as a city of opportunity to everyone. Thank you. Vote for me. Number 8 on the ballot. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Tanvir and Tish and Nikki from 509. I appreciate being here. There's one issue I want to mention before I ask you for your vote. Something we neglected to talk about tonight is the opiate crisis. Opiate overdose deaths are up during the pandemic. In Lynn, there was 109 overdoses the first quarter, then over 91 the second quarter. Those numbers are up slightly. The highest increase in overdoses and deaths are in the Black community in Lynn and nationwide. The rates are up about 4%. So that's something we didn't talk about, and it's sad that that's kind of taken off the front burner with all the other important issues. So that's something I'm experienced with, and I called for the Office of Recovery Services. With that said, my entire campaign has been about accountability and meeting people, right? I want you to meet me and judge me who I am. We have 8 great candidates here. We're all from different backgrounds. I told you I grew up in a single-parent household and understood what it means to work hard, work my way through college and law school, to give back to the community. The reason I went to law school was I was vice president of my union, 660 members. I had my union join the North Shore Labor Council when I was at the Sheriff's Department. I don't know if there's still members down there, but I brought the Essex County Corrections Officers Association into the Labor Council. I've negotiated contracts. I walked the picket line. I brought 110 members up to Newburyport to fight my management, to get good wages for my members. But accountability is why I'm running. I'm here to be accountable to you. As my colleagues here said, you're all our bosses. We work for you. I will be available 24/7. I'm retired. I can do the job full time. I love this city. I love my neighborhood. I love the neighborhoods around the city. And I ask you for one of your 4 votes.
Again, I want to thank the New Lynn Coalition for allowing me to participate in this forum tonight. I want to congratulate all my colleagues here, everyone doing so well, and want to congratulate you. Serving the city I love is a great honor. I love to do everything what I do every day, I love it. And I want to continue to make Lynn a much better and a much safer and prosperous city for all of us to live, work, and raise our families here. For the past years, I have helped move Lynn in the right direction. I work extremely well with all my colleagues, with all of you, with all the mayors. I have worked with the 3 mayors, with the state rep, with the state senator, with U.S. representative. So I work well with all of them, and I think I make a difference. So this is important because it's the city I call home, and I have the passion. I want to do everything in my power to make sure that we all live side by side peacefully. So I have brought businesses to Lynn. I also have brought human rights to Lynn. I've got thousands of people to participate in the political process by reaching them to vote. And I also feel that I don't have any favoritism. I put politics aside. I will try to do everything I can. So that's how I feel. So who I am, and I have nothing to hide. So every time you call me, I will call you back, and we talk straight. And so I just want to thank you all for being here tonight and listen to us. And I respectfully ask for one of your 4 votes. I'm number 7 on the ballot. So 7 number, very easy to remember. Thank you.
Good evening again. It's been a long night, and I thank you all for sitting through this because we still have a pretty good crowd right now. So thank you for sitting through this. Thank you to New Lynn Coalition for giving us a platform to share our views and our goals for the city of Lynn. Again, my name is Nicole McLean, and I am, like all the candidates here, running for councilor at large. I am number 6 on the ballot. You can find out more about me at NicoleForLynn.com, and you can also follow me on Facebook and Instagram at NicoleForLynn. The reason you should vote for me is because I am a proven advocate. I'm a proven service member of this city. I have done so much already without having a seat. I've helped to advocate with Neighbors to Neighbor, with New Lynn Coalition, with Prevent the Cycle. These are all organizations that I have worked with and done work with. I believe that, you know, working is better than talking about it. You know, you have to walk the talk, and I walk the talk every single day. And I hope that you guys will look me up and learn more about me and understand that this work is what I do, and it doesn't take this seat to make me do this work. I have been doing this work. So please, you know, November 7th, I am number 6 on the ballot, but I am the only woman running for councilor at large. So Nicole McLean, it won't be hard to find. Thank you.
This was a great evening. Thank you everyone for coming. Your time and efforts are greatly appreciated and important in building a better community for our future. If you'd like more information about New Lynn Coalition, please see Tish or Tanvir toward the front. Enjoy some snacks and water, and feel free to socialize. Thank you, everyone.